Hello all, David from UP Carrillo here, sitting here with Wayne Stoner, our National Sales Manager. We get asked a lot about what do we pair with a cigar? And today, since Encore Black, which we're both smoking right here, is about to be launching very soon, we decided to do a pairing with Encore Black. One thing that's interesting, a lot of you may not know, is that Wayne actually comes from the bar restaurant industry, and he knows a little bit about fine spirits.
I've been around them a minute. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, we're each going to try something today that we're thinking would pair well. This has not been done before, so you're seeing it live here. We each feel, as I started saying, is going to pair well with Encore Black. We both have our picks. I'm doing a scotch, and Wayne, you're doing a bourbon, right?
I'm doing a bourbon.
Perfect.
2XO.
Perfect. So a little bit about Encore Black before we get into the tasting. This is a new line coming out. It's not the typical Encore that you're all aware of. This is a complete reblend, new blend, not really a reblend, sorry, new blend. It has a USA Connecticut broadleaf Maduro wrapper sitting on a Mexican San Andreas Maduro binder with fillers from Nicaragua, the three valleys of Jalapa, Condega, and Esteli. It's a bold, spicy expression from our company, and it's unique and different. One thing to let everybody know who may be watching this video, it's limited this year to an initial release of 2,000 boxes of 10 count in the box, and it will have an additional potential 3,000 boxes. So the maximum total will be 5,000 boxes that will be released in 2024. So why don't we try to pair these up and see what we think?
I think it's a great idea.
Perfect. So let's start with the scotch. How's that sound?
I think it sounds perfect.
Great. So I picked a Dalmore Port Wood, as everybody can see here. I think this is going to do very well with the Port Wood finish. I think it's going to go well with the flavor profiles of Encore Black. We're going to do a little pour. I'll let you do honors for yourself first. You're going to make me do it.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Ooh, I think this might be a very nice pick, David.
Ooh. So I'm curious. Oh, it's got a very nice nose to it. I like that. I like that. So one of the things that I do, I'll smoke the cigar a little bit before I take my first sip, because I really want the palate to be coated with what the cigar is.
Absolutely.
Then I take a sip of it and feel how it marries up together. So
that's one of the best ways actually to do that, because you don't, in my opinion, you don't want to start with the whiskey or the bourbon or the scotch, because then the cigar is going to be influenced by that, and you want to actually have the cigar influence.
Oh, that Dalmore's nice.
Actually, very nice.
Yeah, and I know you're not a big scotch guy either, so I tried to pick something I hope you would like. It's interesting, the sweetness that we get from the cigar, the caramel sweetness that's inside this specific scotch picks up on that. But the other thing that I find, for me at least, is, it's got, hints of some nuttiness that really offsets the earthiness in the cigar and kind of marries and plays well together. I kind of pick up a little bit of like a coffee note. I don't know if it's really black coffee or if it's more like a creamy coffee, but I would probably lean towards a creamy coffee because of the caramelness that exists.
Yes.
And all three parts of what I pick up in the Dalmore really, really enhance what I'm getting on Encore Black.
I completely agree. And also what I love is, if you do like a bit of a hot scotch, this really picks up that from the bourbon barrels that is it aged and bourbon barrels that's aged in. It's
yeah. It does have a nice little heat to it.
And then it smooths out that really nice vanilla finish on that. That's really, really nice.
Mm-hmm. That's a good choice to marry together.
Yeah.
I was glad that it went well.
Thank you. Definitely. No, that was.
Let's hope both picks are good.
And folks, just so you know, I am not a Scotch guy at all, but I could easily smoke this and drink that without a problem. Matter of fact, I would like that on a rock actually, but that is really, really good.
Yeah, I agree.
Because that sweet finish really with the spices that are in this, that hot spice, hotter spice, or spicier, I guess you will, instead of the baking spice, makes you want to pick that cigar up and smoke it as you're drinking that. So
yeah. And I agree. I think a rock would open it up some to get some more of those tighter flavors
just
that are in there to come out better. But no, it's a nice marriage. It's a nice marriage.
Well done. All right.
So
I'm a little nervous about trying mine out right now. That was really good.
I'll pass my glass over to you.
So we have the 2XO, which is American Cask, or American Oak Cask, sorry. The company just released this last year, and it's doing extremely well. And I have to give a little shout out and credit to one of our sales reps out there, Chris Whaley. He was the one that suggested this, and I've tried it, and I thought it would be fantastic with the Encore Black. So now, ooh, that's got a really, really, really nice sweet nose to it.
You know, it's interesting. Before I smelled the 2XO, I retrohaled Encore Black. And then I took a smell, and it was almost like a sweet wood that I picked up. You know, like you can almost smell that sweetness and that oakiness.
Absolutely.
You know, on the nose.
Yeah.
It's like really right there, and that's kind of cool. So unusual, I think, to find in a bourbon, too, that you get it that prominently there.
Now let's see how it pairs. I'm nervous. Wow, we're 2 for 2. That's really good. This is and I will say, if you're not a sweet bourbon drinker, it's going to be because it's got almost a butterscotch taste to it, note on it, a roasted nut. Man, that's really, really.
Yeah, and it's so different than the Dalmore Scotch.
Completely.
It's like literally we picked almost opposite ends of the spectrum, yet they both pair very well with this cigar.
Yes, and I guess the end on this one, and you kind of get the same thing. It's more vanilla with the Scotch, and this one's more caramel. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But man, does that.
Well, you know what I find.
I hate to knock off that nice ash, but fall in my lap.
My luck, it'll fall in the samples here. You know what I find very interesting is that I'm not a huge. One of my issues with bourbon is that quite often bourbon, especially when they're cask or barrel strength or something, the heat on them is just a little too much for my throat, right? And this one has that heat, similar to how a little bit more heat than obviously the Scotch, but it's tempered and smooth, and it doesn't overpower those flavors you were talking about with that caramel finish, the note on the nose of the oak and the sweetness that's there, man, blindly, I don't know how we managed to pull these two off, but we sure did.
We definitely did. Well, and here again, folks, just that you'll notice out there is everybody's palate is different. He would think David feels this is a little hotter than the Scotch, and I'm just the opposite. I feel the Scotch is a little hotter than the bourbon.
Right.
Because of the sweetness of it, it really dials it down for me, especially that caramel finish.
Yeah.
You get the butterscotch up front, that real sweet candy, like almost sucking on a piece of candy at first. And then some people, that's too much. But with this, folks, these two are no-brainers. Yeah. I mean, the only other one I could think of that we both thought of before we started this, which I can't believe neither of us picked because we love our ryes, is a Basil Hayden dark rye.
Yeah.
The
sweetness on that would go really, really well with this cigar. But it's interesting you mentioned that. So, as you and I have talked and built our friendship and our discussions over fine spirits, I'm very much a Scotch guy. You're very much a bourbon guy. But where we marry is we both love our rye.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's funny, and that's something really good to bring up because, you know, in the world of cigars, you know, when you think about cigars and you smoke cigars, you know, there's a reason why there's so many out there. There's a reason why there's so many liquors out there and so many fine spirits and liquor companies out there. Because everybody has a different palate. Everybody has a different flavor profile that they're seeking, they're searching for, or they enjoy. You know, I tend to like Speysides and Isleys. That's where I go in my scotches. You know, you're definitely an American bourbon guy through and through and through. You know, and our rye is, like we said, is where we marry. You know, I have a certain flavor profile on my cigars that I like. I tend to be more on the robust, super complex, very flavorful, medium plus or greater cigar, though I enjoy everything from a mild all the way up to something I just can't smoke because it's high octane and it's kicking me in the teeth. Yet you're learning as you go on in this industry, and you've migrated since I first met you. You were more on the milder side. Now you're really getting into that medium plus, the complexity, and you're learning about it. You know, so, you know, out there talking to all of you, don't be afraid to try things. You know, we always take the time to marry stuff, and sometimes we come up with these crazy ideas. You know, we'll smoke a cigar with a beer. We'll smoke a cigar with a glass of wine. We'll smoke a cigar with a fine spirit. You know. There's certain cigars out there, and I'm not going to mention, you know, the name of the cigar, but a milder cigar that's out there that may go really well with a vodka soda. You know, I mean, and that's one of his favorite drinks. You know, he you know, when it's a hot summer day and he's outdoors, vodka soda with a little bit of lime or no lime at all is perfect, you know?
Absolutely.
So don't be afraid, folks, to be out there and trying different things and trying what you may think might work. What's the worst that happens? You go, this is awful. You don't drink it, or you put the cigar down, or both and start over again. But honestly, I recommend to all of you, give it a shot. You know, try things. Don't be afraid to pair things together. It's really important because that becomes the camaraderie, the enjoyment of what this lifestyle and what we are all about as an industry and what you all are about as a smoker.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. Man, that was a good pick on your part.
Hey, but right back at you. And you know, I was nervous.
I was because, you know, when I pulled this, and
I want you guys to see me go, oh, that was fantastic. It was actually really, really good.
Yeah. You know, and this happens to be one of the go-to, you know, lines that I like, the Dalmore. You know, I like that a lot. And they make a cigar malt, which wouldn't actually go well with this because it's designed more for, in my opinion, it's designed more for a medium or lighter cigar. But I like their lineup, and I know you tend to be a little more out there on the esoteric side of your bourbon. So, you know, picking two things that we both would normally not go to the shelf in our local liquor store and go, I want that, you know, is kind of unique for both of us. And I appreciate you doing that.
I agree. Well, and I think before we do anything else, I'm going to drink a little bit more of yours. Because, that was really good.
Yeah, I'm going to take another sip of the bourbon.
Man, that's nice.
Well, Wayne and I are going to sign off. Enjoy. Look for Encore Black out there in your local retailer. It's launching very soon here. Enjoy your pairings. Enjoy your time. And smoke in great health, my friends. Have a good one.
Have a good day.